quite a common problem on Outback trips here in Australia is broken rear windows. So I want to try and avoid that if I can. So I was able to get a decent deal on this. So let's unbox it and have a look. Okay, set of instructions. Scan thing on the front there, so obviously help with downloading more details. We'll go through that in a moment. The mud flap here with okay, so we've got the mud flap there. Put the instructions on the side so we don't lose them. We've got this piece that goes through your hitch. It fits a standard 2-inch hitch, and it's got pretty good hardware on it by the looks of things. A lot of stainless steel, toughened steel, aluminium or stainless generally is my understanding. There is another mud flap at the bottom by the looks of things. This piece here, I'm guessing, is going to travel through the tube and attach the mud flap. So obviously there's a little bit of building on this one. We've got all the bits and pieces, the hardware, and a couple of plates there, and I think they also act as a bit of weight. These are pretty heavy duty mud flaps, so I can't see them blowing too far in the wind, but that adds a little bit of weight there. So I'm going to go through this, open it up in a little bit more detail, lay everything out, get the instructions, and then we'll come back and put this together and actually load it onto the car in the same video. So hold tight, we'll be back in a moment. Okay, so we're back here, just a quick shot of the tools that I'll be using. Load out all the bolts and make sure everything's there. I've got some 13, 8, 10 and 17 size spanner, an adjuster one there, hammer, spirit level for straight cutting, and you'll see how all these get used in a moment. Okay, so here we are back again for the installation of the Rock Tamer. So first things first, we take the first piece, which is the arm. Looks like it's got a name on the front of it, so we'll leave that facing out. So this is completely adjustable, so essentially we're going to set it up loosely to start with, and then we can fine tune it at the end before we tighten it all up. So the instructions are telling me that I grab the hitch and put that through there. So put the hitch pin in to make sure that I've got it lined up where it needs to go. So I reckon that's going to sit around the middle. So stage 2 is these poles. They're pretty heavy actually. I believe we have to take off these so we can get them through. These are all lock nuts actually, so obviously if you're doing a lot of corrugated road, so the expectation with this unit is that you will be doing some sort of Outback or corrugation. So they're already loose there, so they go in quite easily, so we can put those back through. So we'll tighten all those up later. Make sure we leave the bolts, so the bolt pointing out the back, so we don't catch ourselves on that. Number 2, Okay, so that appears to be right. We'll make sure we don't lose those. Keep all the tools together. Next stage, we put in these bits. So slide these over the top. The writing at the back. So it says roughly lining it up with the first hole for small to medium vehicles, which kind of guessing mine is. Put those both on there. The retainer bolt, which appears to be, we've got two bolts there. So two little long little skinny ones. This is the important bit. Apparently, this is the important part of measuring the height. So, we want to measure the height of that. So, I'm taking it from the top of that, which is roughly about 700. We measure these, which are about 615, and we want to allow 75 to 100 mil. So we want to allow 75 to 100 mil from the bottom. So that's about 85. So I'll be real excited if I don't have to cut these. So that is 620, 615 to 620. That's about 700. So that's about 80 mil. So that looks good. So hopefully we don't have to cut those. So the instructions there on how to cut it, and it does have a little tool. So the idea is you have a spirit level, put some timber underneath so you can get a nicer cut, get a nice straight edge, like something like spirit level there. There is a hole punch there that you can use to, so the holes are actually marked out all along. There's 5 points for holding it onto. And that hole punch will go straight through that. So, but hopefully in this case we don't need it. So that's instructions there. Okay, so we now take these and we take a heap of these. The bolts are going to go through the back. It's actually rounded at the back and square at the front, so these have got a square underneath edge on them, so they should sit nicely within that gap. Washer and a lock nut on each one. I will tighten these up because I'm pretty sure they won't be coming out. That's looking pretty good so far. Get the other one on before we stick these gaps on. Okay, so here we are back putting these little decorative pieces on. Okay. Wondering what these extra pieces are here, so They just look like they're, I'll try and zoom in if I can, but they obviously go in the rubber so the rubber doesn't compress. I don't know what you'd call those, like a little cylinder. So then they go in the back. We'll tighten those up in a moment. Measure it out. So I think we'll measure it out now. So a couple of caps for the ends. Just some rubber caps. And we've got some bolt caps. So just some plastic bolt caps that go onto the back. Not sure how long they'll stay on there for, but might as well put them on, seeing as we've got them. I think they've actually given us an extra bolt cap. Never in my life, I don't think I've actually got extra bits off anything, so hopefully that's not missing on anything. So we'll adjust those slightly now, tighten everything up, but as you can see, that's pretty much ready to go. So that is adjustable here. These arms swing in and out if you need to like move it around or away from the car. We've actually hopefully I can still get my plug in there. I will back the car up now and give that a bit of a test run to make sure I can get the plugs in there. There's a gap there for my Anderson plug, which charges the battery in the camper trailer. So yeah, once I tighten everything up, that's pretty much it. Look, it looked a little bit complicated to start with, but it actually wasn't too bad. So I'm pretty happy with that. Hopefully it avoids us getting any smashed windows from our Outback trip. Okay, so here we are with the finished product. Looking pretty good. Pretty happy with that. That's all been tightened up. The hitch needs to be tightened up a little bit because it does rock around a little bit. But yeah, here's just a little quick look from the back. You can see those plastic bolts there on the back. It's pretty neat finish. I've done my best to measure it as evenly as possible. You can see there, if I line it up around the back, that just passes there, so that should do well. I still got access to my plugs there. The main plug will be a little bit of a challenge to get into, but I reckon it'll be fine. I did a bit of a test with one of the plugs I had handy, so yeah, that's pretty good. So pretty happy with that. If you like the video, please hit like. If you want to see more of it, subscribe, and we'll see you again shortly. Thanks, guys.